I always feel being on vacation gives me the reflective mindset I need to be able to contemplate on what I'm doing and what's holding me back. Being away from home and in a new environment helps put things in perspective and also clarifies what I want and need to do differently when back home. This time around, I pondered about my relationship with fear. My fear and I are always in battle. Back home, my fear is always there to challenge my actions on a daily basis, and I battle with how much power I let it have on my day. When on vacation, this battle results in me doing adventurous stuff like climbing and proving to myself that I am not afraid of doing scary stuff. Fear comes in many forms. It doesn't matter which one is clouding our thoughts and numbing our actions, they all paralyze us. I feel fear is a bunch of squiggly little energy waves in our minds that keeps us from doing things we want to try. When looking at my own fears these last few weeks, I've come to realize that most of them are misplaced and ruining my experiences. I found this especially true during climbing the other day when my mind was keeping me from trying hard or enjoying the process of figuring out a boulder problem. I was afraid I couldn't do it because my climbing was not good enough. I was afraid of failing because others were watching, and what would they think of me if I couldn't even stick the first move? Every failed attempt proved to me my fears were well grounded and I should just quit and go home. I was so focused on all these other things than the actual climb that I got so disappointed in myself and couldn't enjoy the process. A lot of these fears are also present in my work activities. It's too easy these days to compare yourself with others that I feel it takes a lot of fear battling to lull the noise in my mind that keeps telling me that I will never succeed. It makes me want to run away from obstacles because I don't want to fail. It's really easy to quit, and it's really hard to keep going when success seems unimaginable. But because it's hard doesn't mean it's impossible, right? It makes me wonder how super successful people deal with fears and failure, and instead of being paralyzed, reach new heights of growth and innovation. Personally, I've always admired those rare people who manage to drastically change the world during their short time here. And I've always liked to study those people and read their biographies. So, in order to understand how to deal with my daily irrational fears, I have looked at two people I admire and jotted down some main lessons we can all learn from and apply in managing our fears. Focus on one move at a time. When Alex Honnold goes free soloing, climbing large walls without a rope, he makes sure he only focuses on one move at a time. He won't let his mind think about whether it's going to get easier or harder or think about what's to come. He makes his endeavor as small and easy as possible by telling himself he's just climbing this tiny little mountain, one easy move at a time. This move's easy, this move's easy. Number 2. When uncertain, move back 2 moves and find a different position. Another thing he does when he gets stuck in a spot is to just never force it and go back a move or two. By doing this, he can keep his patience, stay relaxed instead of panicky about what to do, and keep in control. If he wouldn't do that, panic will take over, which will lead to doing some crazy move. When he gets into a position he doesn't like, he's gonna move back 2 moves and find a different position and a different way to keep it under control, and to make sure he doesn't commit to something that he does not feel comfortable doing. These 2 lessons are so valuable when managing fear in climbing, but I feel you can apply them to anything really. When I break big, uncertain, and terrifying projects into tiny steps, it suddenly feels more manageable. When I can make sure that my focus is on that one thing in front of me instead of the final result, my overwhelming fear becomes less. And right now, in climbing, when I get stuck in a position, I climb back a few moves and try something different. It helps a lot in enjoying the process more for sure. It's way less stressful because there's only one thing to worry about at a time. Number 3. Reasoning from first principles to allocate misplaced fear. One of the most interesting people living on our planet right now, in my opinion, is Elon Musk. In an amazing article that dives knee deep into why Musk is able to do what he's doing, his way of reasoning is described. Musk himself calls this reasoning from first principles, based on the way a physicist constructs his reasoning from looking at the fundamentals. This is what that looks like when Musk starts talking about his childhood fear of the dark. When I was a little kid, I was really scared of the dark. But then I came to understand dark just means the absence of photons in the visible wavelength 400 to 700 nanometers. Then I thought, well, it's really silly to be afraid of a lack of photons. Then I wasn't afraid of the dark anymore after that. What he does is assessing the actual facts of a situation and deciding that his fear was misplaced. And as an adult, he has mastered this way of reasoning. By breaking down what it actually is that you are afraid of, based on the facts, it only seems logical to conclude that oftentimes there's no real danger involved. Musk is seeing things as they are, using his eyes, ears, experience, and logical thinking to lead the way. Number 4. Treat the world like a lab and your life like an experiment session. To continue with Musk's scientific approach to thinking, living life, and taking bold decisions, he treats the world like a science lab. He's experimenting his way through life by testing many hypotheses and learning through failure. Like a scientist, he gathers together only what he knows to be true, the first principles, and uses those as the puzzle pieces with which to find solutions to problems. All true scientists learn through failure. It's a critical part of their process. To me, it's very liberating to think there's no such thing as failure if everything is just an experiment. It's not surprising that many of the most wildly impactful people seem to treat the world like a lab and their life like an experiment session. It's the best way to succeed at something. And downgrading my misplaced fear with reasoning so that it loses its power and impact makes it way easier to not take fear or failure into consideration. Even if you are dancing to the beat of your own drum and don't get any applause for it. Of course, there is so much more to say about how to manage our fears, and there are many nuances on an individual level. But I hope these 4 lessons have given you some food for thought on how to deal with your own irrational fears. Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I have personally learned a lot from examining these 2 interesting humans, and I am eager to start working on managing my own fears differently than I have before. Thanks a lot for taking the time to hang out with me today, and I am rooting for you for not letting fear rule your life. I hope to see you again for the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye!